And we are live.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of MovieCast. I am your host, Dana Abercrombie, and I am joined by the very infamous Richard Bailey Jr. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Dana, and yourself?
I'm alive.
That's
that's
good.
that's an improvement. That's always good.
Very good.
That is very good. First off, we have to start off by paying respect to a man, a legend, an icon, the universe's grandfather, and the grandfather of all things comics and just wonderfulness of Marvel. Mr. Stanley has passed away at the young age of 95. So, rest in
Yeah,
peace to him. Those who don't know, he began in 1939. That's
yeah,
crazy.
that is crazy. That's a long time.
That is very long. He's gone on to create infamous comic book characters: Black Panther, Spider Man, all the X Men, Thor, Iron Man, Fantastic Four, the Incredible Hulk, Daredevil, not Iron Man, I said Iron Man, Ant Man, all the mans. So yeah, it was a very sad day today. So
Yeah,
rest in peace.
yeah. No, I agree. Definitely was a sad day. I know I was speaking with Tony Polanco earlier. Uh, yeah, this news hit everybody very hard because I mean, I know there are some people that figured, he was getting older, so they figured, sooner or later his time would come. But when you say this stuff about when you think someone's time is up, but it doesn't really hit you until it actually happens, and then it's very very devastating because I didn't see not one person today that didn't feel very sad about this news. And actually, on my way home tonight, there actually is a billboard around the area that I was at where they constantly show updated images. They had an image of Stan Lee up there pretty much all day today as I kept passing through that area. So yeah, definitely an emotional day. But rest in peace to a legend, a guy
Yes.
that had so many great ideas, created so many characters, and no doubt touched a lot of people's lives.
Yes, rest in peace to him, and he'll live on through all of his comic books, his movies. I know that Marvel did film his cameos for the upcoming Avengers 4
Hmm.
movie, so that will be very touching indeed. Rest
Oh
in
yeah,
peace to the legend.
I agree.
Yeah. Now, in other news, a couple trailers dropped today that have people in shock and some people just disinterested. Toy Story 4, very interesting. It dropped their teaser trailer where basically it's just all of the characters that we know and love from this franchise now joined with a new character called Forky. Forky basically is dealing with a lot of anxiety. And I know looking at the trailer that I really didn't feel anything at all. I was rather dead inside. So, what are your thoughts on Forky and the teaser trailer?
I just want to say right now for the fans of Disney, they may not like what I'm about to say, but I have to keep it real. I don't care anything about this movie. I really don't know why they decided to do another Toy Story. Well, no, I do know why, because they want to continue to milk this franchise because they know, obviously kids love the movie. So this is why they decided they want to do another one. And my whole issue with Disney now is because, you know, just like with the Star Wars franchise, when they decided we're going to continue making Star Wars movies, and then they made that Han Solo movie, and a movie that I went to go see at the theater, and I thought was absolutely disappointing. But then after they did that, they said, okay, we're going to scale back a little bit on all these Star Wars movies. So I feel now we're at a point with these animated films. You're going to continue to see these Toy Stories until people have been vocal and said that they're tired of seeing them. And I know we spoke about this on the last podcast. I definitely, I enjoyed The Incredibles 2, but I do not want to see an Incredibles 3. And I fear that we're going to see more of these franchise movies just because they figure that they want to just keep making them. So um, I did see the trailer. I didn't really care too much about it because I thought that there was nothing else to really explore with Toy Story. But for those that are looking forward to the movie, more power to them.
Ouch. Ouch. Okay, so those who don't know really quickly, Toy Story 4, it will take place in summer 19, well, it releases summer 2019. The movie itself is Woody has always been confident about his place in the world and that it is his priority to take care of kids, whether it's Annie or Bonnie or whomever. However, Bonnie now has a very reluctant new toy called Forky to her room. Forky basically looks it's a spork. It's the spoon fork, and it's like something that a 3-year-old just decorated really quickly with a bunch of like arts and craft tools. And so she added Forky to her new room and her new collection, and they end up taking a road trip adventure. And that's just basically all that we know about Forky. Forky is, again, he's really slightly demented, and that he has his pipe cleaner arms and his weird squiggly face, and it just seems that Forky does not believe that he is a toy. In the teaser, he's screaming, "I'm not a toy," which is kind of like a fallback to with Buzz Lightyear. Remember when he was thinking, I'm real, you know, actual person, and this is my adventures and my stories, and Andy had to like slap him and say you're a toy and explain to him what his real place in society is. Um, yeah, I just don't feel anything for Forky. I know it's gotten a lot of mixed reactions. I'm very interested and very curious of whether or not this was the original script. Because those who don't know, Rashida Jones was supposed to write Toy Story 4, but she ended up leaving because of the environment at Pixar was just very sexist, she said. And that's was the whole Me Too movement. And John Lasseter, who was like the head of Pixar at the time, he went down with the Me Too movement. They said he was, very aggressive and made the women very uncomfortable in the environment, which is, intolerable. So I wonder if this was the original script that they was going for. This just does seem like an odd choice. Overall, for me, it looks like one of those straight to DVD videos. Those it's not like I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, it's Forky's New Adventure, and it's something that would play on like the Disney Channel, and then go straight to direct to DVD. That's just what it looks like to me. I don't really feel anything for this. Overall, I'm not excited for another Toy Story, just because the third one kind of wrapped up everything in a nice little bubble, and my emotions were already, given to that movie. So for this, it's like I feel nothing. So congratulations to those who are supporting Forky and looking forward to this movie. But moving on, very shockingly, I had feelings for another trailer that dropped, and I didn't think I was going to have feelings. It kind of like hit me like a ton of bricks. But the Detective Pikachu, starring Ryan Reynolds, dropped today. I'm laughing. Stop. Okay, this movie looks like it is the PG-13 version of Deadpool that we deserve. Like, I'm with it. I can't explain to you why, but I'm really interested in it. Maybe it's because of Pikachu and how they just designed him and made it so realistic. I don't know what's going on, but I have more interest in this movie than I do in Forky and his adventures.
Well,
Yeah.
well, you have add Ryan Reynolds to the movie, and that definitely brings a lot more personality to the character.
Yeah.
So I can totally understand that. I will admit, to shock many people, I am not a huge Pokemon fan, so I don't know if I will want to rush out to see this movie. I mean, obviously, it all depends. We already know nowadays they all studios are releasing multiple trailers and pretty much telling you the whole movie before it comes out. So as I start to see more trailers, then I might become more interested in checking it out. But I definitely will say if I had to make a choice between seeing this and Toy Story 4, I would definitely see this instead because I mean I like Ryan Reynolds. He's funny. And I know you made the joke about Deadpool, but there is a Deadpool 2 PG-13 still coming out with Fred Savage next month. So um, yeah, that's something else for people to look forward to. But this here, I'm totally fine with that, and I'm also a big fan of detective stories as well, and characters that play detectives. So I definitely would be willing to give this a chance. I did speak to our very good friend Gary Swaby earlier. He said that he will get front row tickets to this movie as soon as it comes out. So shout outs to Gary.
Yeah, I can't explain it, but it just works. For some, it's horrifying because it's so realistic looking. And then the voice doesn't really seem to match the Pikachu voice that we know and love. But it's an improvement from the Detective Pikachu video game, which made him sound like a 50-year-old smoker with a mortgage and a divorce under his belt. Like I can't explain it, but it works, but it doesn't work, and it's horrifying. Yet it just looks like something I can't look away from. It looks like it's cursed. It looks like an extremely cursed character, and I'm just for some reason I feel that it was supposed to be a rated R movie, but they just had to make it PG-13 to get more money.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's very very odd, and it's slightly gritty. And yeah, so for those who don't know, it follows a trained Pokemon trailer named Tim Goodman, who's played by Justice Smith, who was just previously in Jurassic Park Fallen World. He was the kid from chasing and being chased by dinosaurs. So he is mysteriously gifted with the power to understand Pikachu. And everyone else just hears Pika Pika, and he actually can hear a full dialogue and everything. They'll end up teaming up to find Tim's missing cop turned private eye detective dad. So along the way, they're going to start fighting people and interrogating other Pokemon. And, it's just really odd. There's also a Mr. Mime that looks really disturbing. And there's Charizard, which is just freaking weird. The trailer, again, it doesn't look bad. It just looks off and it's horrifying, but it still looks good at the same time. Um, I think for some strange reason, I just kind of feel like Danny DeVito should have voiced the character instead. It just seems like it just would have worked better.
Yeah, that definitely would have been funny.
That would have been hilarious. But Ryan Reynolds, he's pretty good. He has that smooth voice, so it works. And anyone who's interested, Detective Pikachu will release on May 10th, 2019, if we're all still alive by then, if the country's standing. So I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah. So Richard, have you seen any good movies this week?
Yeah, so I actually did see two movies. First, I'll go to mention the one that you spoke about last week. I did finally see The Girl in the Spider's Web, um, and I pretty much thought the movie was pretty good. Um, for me, the standout character of the movie was Lakeith Stanfield. Um, his character. And I would not mind seeing that character get a movie of his own, but I don't really know if that's going to happen. But I think the role that he played, I really respected that because going into the movie, I didn't really have any expectations for any of the supporting characters to really play a major role in the actual story. So just to see him be able to get highlighted in, as much as he did. I very much enjoyed that. As for the film, I thought, obviously we're talking about the hacker protagonist. She specializes in helping others. But when it comes to trying to deal with what's going on with her sister, she of course is unsuccessful. Um, so I mean, I will admit that I did not see the previous movie. I know that there was a different actress attached to in that starring role, and of course we had Claire Foy in this particular role. So from what I had saw of this movie, I don't really know if I need to see the previous one to further understand the character. But for what I saw, I mean, I thought the movie was pretty decent. So definitely, when I did go see the movie, there was a ton of people in the theater. I mean, I did notice throughout the weekend, a lot of films were, it was very, very busy because I saw two movies, but it was very busy, mainly for this movie. And then, of course, The Grinch, which is a movie that I did not see because I wasn't feeling too well the other day. So I decided that I wasn't going to go see that. But there's another movie that I did see, which I'm going to get into. But yeah, Girl in the Spider's Web I thought was a pretty decent film, pretty good, enjoyable film. Some action, people getting taken out. So I definitely give that film a thumbs up. Now with that said, um, I did enjoy the movie. I thought it was pretty good. But there's one movie that, in my opinion, I enjoyed a hell of a lot more than that movie, and that was Overlord. For those that don't know, that is the movie that has been advertised for quite a while now. J.J. Abrams is involved in the film. It's pretty much a World War II type movie, but it also mixes errors, elements of sci-fi and horror. Um, so essentially, if you saw the trailer, you saw that there's a couple of people, there's a couple of soldiers they're making their initial descent into Germany. They're trying to go after the Nazis, and of course, their plane goes down. So the ones that do survive, they essentially are, they have a mission to take out a tower um, that's actually on the island. But what ends up happening is they discover that there's more stuff going on the island. You have a mad scientist experimenting on people and basically turning them into creatures. So the movie itself, in terms of it being a horror film, I will admit that it was not really scary to me. They went for the whole jump scares most, pretty much in every instance. So that got a little tiresome after a while. But to me, the real element of the movie that I enjoyed is the action. I mean, the action was by far fantastic. You're seeing people in shootouts, you're shooting up creatures, shooting up the enemies and stuff like that. Yeah, that was awesome. And of course, what I also like about the movie is, because they did have a black character in the film that was I mean, he pretty much is, I would say, the main protagonist. I mean, they have other people that play a huge role as the other supporting cast, but they did a very good job with his character because this is a character that pretty much he didn't sign up to go to the army. He pretty much he got drafted, so he was there. He was trying to find his purpose, and of course, by the end of the film, like he does struggle to really pull off things when they tell him, "We need you to shoot this guy. We need you to do this order." He struggles with trying to do that because he's constantly struggling with, "Why am I here? What am I doing?" So by the end of the movie, he goes through a transformation and he becomes more sure of himself and his abilities. Um, and of course, what I also like about the movie is that they did not hold back if they thought that there were certain characters that should die, because there's a lot of people on that supporting team that don't make it out of the movie alive. So I really appreciated that. Um, it just was a different, unique type of film. And the one thing that I will say, walking away from this movie, is that I definitely want to see J.J. Abrams do a lot more original stuff. I know this guy has been involved with the Star Trek and Star Wars movies, and I mean those movies are fine, but I think that he should challenge himself to do more original stuff. because then he'll come out with good projects like this one. This movie was initially in the beginning supposed to be connected to the other franchise that he did a while back. I can't think of it right now. Um, but that was debunked. They went in a totally. What you say?
Cloverfield.
There you go. Yes, that was originally. This was originally supposed to be connected to that, but they decided to take this in a totally different direction. I'm glad they did that because it just would not have worked in the context of this particular story because they just wanted to show you just how horrifying the Nazis were, the experiments they wanted to do on people, and of course, I think they did a great job. They made you want to dislike these characters, so that was great, and then also root for the good guys. So I definitely would recommend if people want to go see a different type of action film uh, that does feel like it's a World War II film, even down to the titles that they actually use when the movie opens up. Everything feels like it's a World War type of film, but again, they have the elements of horror in there, and it makes it a little bit more interesting. So I definitely would encourage anybody who was thinking about seeing this movie, definitely go check it out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. But yeah, we need to see more movies like this from J.J. Abrams and company moving forward. And that's essentially the only two movies that I saw this week. Definitely looking forward to seeing Widows later this week, though. Yeah.
So I loved Widow so darn much. It's one of those guilty pleasure movies where it's the thing about it is that Gillian Finn, the screenwriter, she I believe has a tendency of being somewhat predictable with her plot twist, but even with her predictability, she is just amazing writer and she can create these very entertaining stories. So I truly loved it. It was so much fun. And Viola Davis is just, she's queen of everything. She's queen of acting. I would have loved to, seen she overtakes she like steals the movie, but like also her and Cynthia Revno, I cannot pronounce her last name, but she's amazing as well. So yes.
I can't
I need
wait to see
I
that.
need a sequel. I need a sequel. That's all I can say. So I need a sequel. I
Uh
need to know.
oh.
That's all I can say. Like it's one of those movies that that doesn't need a sequel, but you just want a sequel just because you could see those women again because they're just really great, all of them together. So I can't say anything because I'll end up spoiling it, and I really loved it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
don't. Well, no, we'll have to revisit this discussion on the next episode because I definitely am going to see it before we record our next episode.
and also with the girl in the spider's web, as I said before, I truly enjoyed it so much, but I just found it to be very emotional. Maybe it was just me, but it was so freaking sad. The relationship between the two sisters, and I don't think you necessarily need to see the previous trilogy,
Okay.
either one. Because remember, there was the Swedish version and the American version. I think that it does help though, just because they're just so good that it would just help to watch those trilogies. But basically,
I,
everything was kind of explained neatly. Like you knew each other's background and what was going on in the relationship with their father, so it worked out at the end either way.
yeah. You see, okay, so I'll definitely remember that, and I do want to add, yes, it was very, very emotional for sure, because man, the father, yeah, he did some pretty messed up things to his daughters, and then you also have, once she finally confronts her sister, it's like, that's it. They not really no forgiveness, nothing, because by that point, the sister is pretty much, she's about to go down anyway. So it was very heartbreaking to see that, but I guess they had to get that point across since the character has a history of always saving people, helping them out. But when it comes to her own family, she couldn't save them. So I would be curious if they did do another movie, if they explore how she is dealing with this stuff after the fact. Because obviously, when you deal with these type of situations, it doesn't just go away. There's still some stuff that might linger. So if they decide to do another movie, I'll be curious to see if they address where her mindset is at after all the stuff that happened with her sister.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But I just don't really see her as a character who is someone will it will like impact her that way. I see her as someone who really bottles her emotions and just
Hmm.
takes it out very aggressively on others. So that would be interesting though. I will say that.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Absolutely.
So one of the movies that I was able to see this week was Instant Family. It stars Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne. It's a very heartwarming, corny, but truly authentic movie about adoption. It's essentially about their couple, Mark Warburn and Rose Byrne. They're a couple who's, they moved into this new house. They're flippers. They're house flippers. So, they buy a rundown house and they flip it and turn it into this wonderful beauty and make money off of it that way. They move into this really beautiful house, and essentially it's very big though, and there's like, well, what's the point? The family members are like, what's the point of this big house when you don't have any kids and you have no interest in kids? And it kind of hits the wife a little bit like, oh wow, I know we agreed that we were really going to have kids, but what happens if we have kids? And kind of gets into that relationship that's like always, oh, we said that we were, but then we wasn't ready, so then we said no. And so that parental gene hits them, and Rose Byrne ends up going on to one of those fostering websites, and she's like, well, maybe we should foster a kid, give someone a loving home. And they end up looking for a small child, one child, but they end up finding this teenager who's like, she's been in the system since she was 10. She is very rebellious, but she also has two younger siblings, and they instantly kind of fall in love with her personality because she's like curses them out. She doesn't care. And they end up taking them into her home, and it's about this relationship of trying to build a bond with these kids. Even though it's a comedy, it has very sad and realistic situations. The kids were found in a crack house, just wandering around like feral cats. Their mother's a drug addict. And, they've been bounced around from home to home to home. The girl doesn't like to be touched. She doesn't like hugs. The other girl, the youngest sister, you can tell that she's been verbally abused, because there's a scene where she's like playing with her dolls and reenacting kind of like the abuse that she went through. Also, there's the brother who I would say has been abused as well, to the point where like he's always very sensitive. He doesn't like to be touched. If he was like, say if he dropped the glass, he would like fall down into like this position and like keep apologizing. But even though it's like very sad things have happened to them, and it does touch on parents who just use the foster money for themselves, they don't really care about the kids, they manage to balance it out with the humor so that you're not, going home completely depressed. So I would say that it is one of those movies that I didn't expect anything coming from it, but I got a lot out of it. And it truly shows how adoption and fostering changes people's lives for the better. And it's to show that, your family can come from anyone and anywhere. The movie itself was inspired by the director, and he and his wife actually fostered, then later adopted their three kids. So it feels like it's very genuine and it's coming from a realistic place, and it just truly is kind of like a celebration of adoption and family. And yes, it is extremely corny, but it also really works. And I think that it's one of those great, heartwarming films of the year, shockingly.
Hey,
So,
well, I will just like to say that that's excellent news. I have a ton of respect for Mark Wahlberg. Everything that he does, he is exactly from the same neighborhood that I was born in, Dorchester, Mass. So, and of course, he's been doing big things. I know his family also has a burger restaurant that they own that I've actually been to a couple of times. So I definitely will support anything that he does. And I'm glad that this movie, because he normally does a lot of action movies. So for him to do something like this is, yeah, it sounds good, and it sounds like it has a great message. So I may have to check that out at some point.
how are the burgers? Because I'm poor, I can't afford them.
Well, they are really that expensive. I mean, well, they have different types of burgers. It's not just the typical. They try to think of everybody. They do have a vegetarian type of burger as well. Um, but I mean, the two times I tried it, because I tried it when I was back home last year. Yeah, I mean, it was great. It was great. You know, they have shakes too. So you know, if you wanted something sweet, you can get yourself a milkshake. But yeah, I mean, the food is pretty good there. Now I will admit that I didn't see any of the brothers there because you know they too busy doing other stuff. But no, they still they have a very good establishment on their hands, I would say.
Okay. Well, it sounds interesting. I should one day not be lazy and go to one of their restaurants and get a burger.
Do they have one in New York?
Yeah, they have one. I know that they had one near like Coney Island, but I'm kind of far away from Coney Island and
Okay.
also busy. So yeah, eventually, one day I will. And then they have one on no. See, they had one at the Upper East Side, but it was closed by the Department of Health.
Whoa, uh-oh, okay, that's not good. That's not good to hear.
And
Whoa.
the last time that I looked, all of his franchises were kind of not doing that. His New York City franchises were not doing that great.
Well, you know, maybe that's because he's not really a fan of the Yankees, so he just decided, well, if I
Uh,
got to put something in New York, I'm gonna give them the lower end portion of my business.
uh, well, I know the Coney Island one, I know it was in trouble. The one in Brooklyn, they said it was notoriously mediocre and that they
Wow.
had paying rent and that they were on the verge of being locked out. And then the Times Square location, I heard was slow going, and it still hasn't even opened. And it was set to open back in like 2016, and it's now
Wow.
2018 on the verge of 2019. So I don't know. Maybe it's one of those staples that just works outside of New York City. I know that they have like 25, or at least they're planning on 25 locations. But if you can't keep one open in New York, I don't know what to do. I'll send thoughts and prayers for your establishment.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. I didn't know all that was going on. So yeah,
Yeah.
they got to figure that he got to figure that out.
Yeah. So, maybe when you're in like Boston,
Yeah.
you can like ship me a burger.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
It must be much better up there because aren't they all like the central location is Boston?
Yeah, yep. They had a location right near Fenway Park where the Red Sox play. That's the one that me and my brother went
They,
to.
yeah, I just need to go up to Boston. Keep pronouncing it Boston and park the cat and have it yard. Is that my war bags?
Yeah, you're right.
So, moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about some box office numbers. Um, I know you should be very excited about this. I'm still very angry that I have not seen this movie yet, and that there were like 3 screenings, and they were all for children, and I was going to kidnap a kid, not literally. Please don't come after me. But, like, mentally, I was going to like snatch a 5-year-old and be like, "Let's go to see the Grinch," and then that kid would get me in. But yeah, number one, opening with $67.5 million is Dr. Seuss The Grinch, which
Wow.
yeah, which I heard was not like the Grinch that we grew up on. The
So
one
so
I grew up on, the Grinch hated people. He didn't necessarily hate Christmas. He just hated people and consumerism. But this one, he actually hates Christmas. So that kind of breaks my heart since Christmas is my favorite holiday to ever exist. But yeah, so that is number one, which means that it knocked down the previous number one movie from last week, which was Bohemian Rhapsody, which pulled in $31.2 million. But their total gross is over $100 million. So congratulations to them. Number three, shockingly to me, because it's kind of been such an independent movie, and I guess word of mouth really does help. But Overlord is number three.
Oh wow. Whoa. See, let me just say real quick. I didn't look at any of these. This is the first time I'm hearing all this information. So yeah, it's very surprising to hear.
Yep. So 10.2 million. You go, Overlord. You go. Um, Number four, which I'm kind of like surprised about since it bombed in like the reviews and it just looks really pretty, but there's no substance to it, is the Nutcracker in the Four Realms.
Mm,
So good for you, I guess. Which means that A Star is Born got knocked down to number four.
wow.
Yeah, they only made $8.1 million, but their overall gross is 178. So good for
Yeah,
you.
I did see that movie was sold out actually a few times.
It's the
Um,
power of
although
Gaga. You know,
yeah,
the
it
power of
has to
Gaga.
be.
And then also remember a lot of Oscar screening seasons is coming.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, I know people in like the academy part of the academy, they got their passes and stuff to go and see it. So good for them. I will stare at them jealously.
No, that means that you'll be getting the pass soon.
I wish. I wish. I want to be one of those like bougie people who just like, I'm gonna go see the Oscar movies. Here's my special pass. You know, be all like hoity toity and like take pictures on Instagram. Look at me, I'm special. Free movies. But so number six is The Girl in the Spider's Web. Yay. Which since it's
Wow,
marked
number
as
six.
dragon tattoo story, I feel that we're gonna get like a trilogy from this.
Well. This second movie is based on like the author wrote another book, right?
No, the
So
author's dead, sweetie.
wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
Rest in peace. So they entrusted another writer with his work, and he is writing in the spirit of the original author.
Okay, okay, I see what you mean. So you said it made how much at the box office?
2.8 million, which is
Okay,
not
so
bad for a new title, considering you have like Bohemian and The Grinch
yeah.
to go with. So it's number six. Not bad. Number seven, which means that last week it was number three. Now it's at number seven. It's cold blooded, people. Is Nobody's Fool, the Tiffany Haddish movie.
I'm surprised that that movie is still in the top 10.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that movie would have dropped, out of the top 10 after the first week.
Well, it dropped. It went. I mean, it went from number three to number seven. That's disrespectful.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's good. Well, with all due respect, it will not be in the top 10 next time. I will make that prediction because you have a couple. You got Widows coming out this week.
Instant Family comes
It's the big
out.
movie, Harry Potter. I'm going to say Fantastic Beasts.
Man, I'm telling you, y'all guys need to see. Like, I'm in tears just thinking about it. It was such a beautiful movie where it was like, I am so grateful to be alive to see this. I'm not even being over dramatic. I like ran home and started rereading the Harry Potter series because that's how beautiful the movie was. Johnny Depp, he was great. Ezra Miller, he was great. He plays these suffering characters so well.
Mm.
Johnny Depp is just like that leech that finds your weakness and just makes you come to him and look to him for guidance, and he just uses you, and it's disgusting, but it's so amazing how he's able to do that. And because J.K. Rowling wrote it, it feels like a continuation of Harry Potter. It's like the spirit of Harry Potter. So yeah, go see that. That's Friday. So that will be number one. We don't have to worry about the other movies. Still in the top 10, which is kind of surprising, is the most beautiful rom-com of 2018, Venom.
Oh, interesting. Very
that,
interesting.
that's still in there. It's made 4.9 million this week, which means the total is $206 million. So good for you. Uh, Number nine, which I'm shocked, it dropped like four. I can't do math, but previously it was number five. Now it's at number nine. Halloween is still there. I'm telling you, this Danny McBride needs a big round of applause because he resurrected and breathed life into that boring Mike Myers. Michael Myers, not Mike Myers, because that's the actor.
Yeah, Mike Myers. That sounds good.
Michael Myers. So good for you, Danny McBride. And still number 10, which makes me very happy, is The Hate You Give.
Oh, that's
So
great. That's
it
very good.
pulled in $2 million. It was still hanging in there. So I'm happy about that.
Mm.
And
Yeah, that's very good to hear. That's good news.
the most boring movie of 2018, First Man, is all the way at number 16.
Whoa, whoa, wow, man. Well, I guess well, I'm assuming that that movie will still get nominated for some
You
Academy Awards for visuals, I guess, or something like that.
and it deserves all the visuals and all the technicals. It really does. Just that's just it. Literally just it. Because if you put me to sleep and you're supposed to be about a mission to Mars and it's planets and stars and moons and like unicorn stuff, and I'm dead asleep, you have problems. There's legit problems for like, so yeah, but good for you. It didn't make its money back, but good for you. It did make its money back. No, it didn't make its money back. Its budget was 59 million and it pulled in 43.7. But
Oh, whoa, ouch.
there's always DVD sales. Yay.
That's the worldwide total of what it's pulled in, or just the North American numbers.
It's the total gross.
Oh yeah, that's not good. They need to get some more sales.
It needs some more sales, but shockingly enough, Incredible 2 is still making its money. So good for you. Even though it only pulled in 122,000 because it's still showing somewhere, believe it or not, in like some theaters.
I thought that
It's
wouldn't be in any more theaters now
no,
because
like it's weird. Like for some reason, like Black Panther, for some reason, and like it's playing still in like some theaters,
that's good.
even
Hey,
though it's on DVD already and it released a while ago. So good for you. But Incredibles 2 made 122,000 dollars over the weekend, and its total gross is 608 million. So good for
man,
you. Which
wow.
still, which worldwide is like it already hit the billion mark. So good for you. So moving on from the box office reports, um, Star Trek Discovery, which I was able to interview the cast. Very interesting. Michelle Yeoh, she is potentially reprising her role as Emperor George. I cannot pronounce the name. Georgia, and she will most likely have an upcoming spinoff series. So good for you. Those who are excited for Star Trek Discovery.
That's good
And
news. Yeah.
that is good news. Those who, and then, an Asian woman headlining her own
Hmm.
spinoff with Star Trek. That's amazing. So congratulations
Yeah,
to
no,
her.
I agree.
I
I
hope she
agree.
gets. I really, really, really do hope that everything works out and that she gets it because it's amazing. It's time that we see more diversity in TV and in movies. Remember, we had Crazy Rich Asians that came out earlier this year, and we definitely need a female Asian star to headline something as big as Star Trek.
I agree.
And Star Trek is all about diversity and inclusion, and I love everything about it. So good for her. I hope that it works out very much so. And also in like Christmas news, yay, the chilling adventures of Sabrina, which is currently being sued by the Church of Satan, in weird news, we're getting a Christmas special. So the episode will premiere on Netflix on December 14th for those who are interested. So
So that's just a one-off episode then, because I know the whole season is on Netflix right now.
yeah, that's a one off.
Okay,
So that should be
interesting.
really good. That should be really interesting. So, we're going to have like a creepy Halloweeny type thing. That sounds
Oh,
exciting. And the show itself is really good. I don't know if you've been watching. It's very different. It's very, like I said
so
before, voodoo, and is
the
being sued by the Church of Satan.
thing I definitely need to. Oh no, no, no. I would say I definitely need to watch it. I have a plan to watch that, and of course, I need to watch House of Cards because I've heard some interesting things about that last season of House of Cards. So I got to watch both of those shows soon.
Right. Yes, you do. So the new little episode is going to be called A Midwinter's Tale. According to like the trailer that was dropped, Sabrina, she has like her new little platinum blonde look, which means that it may take place after the events of the first season. You have some Christmas trees and warm beverages around Zelda and Hilda and Sabrina. That's relaxing. And you're going to find out whether or not witches celebrate Christmas. And what does the Dark Lord have to say about the Christmas season? So it should be very interesting to see how that works out. So, yay to them.
Sounds interesting. I look forward to that. I got to watch the whole season for sure now.
Yeah, it's really good. And the whole, like I said before, it's currently trying to be sued by the Church of Satan, which does exist and it's not exactly like it's depicted in American Horror Story. Weird season, by the way. We should talk about that later on.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
because next week is the final episode, so we should definitely kind of break it down and talk about that, and you can like hear my disappointment in the whole season because it started out really promising, and I'm very depressed right now.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear where the disappointment started and what episode that whole thing started.
So sad. It was so, and I just wanted to say, still, even though it's the most disappointing season so far, I really appreciate the crossover with Murder House.
Yeah, that episode was fantastic.
Like,
I will admit. I
it
will
was
admit.
a perfect like Christmas present. It wrapped up all of these loose ends, and it was just beautiful. And it kind of felt like everyone got their happy ending.
Yeah, yeah, without a doubt.
Yes, I'm very appreciative to that. So yes. So moving on really quickly, we are getting a Child's Play remake. Yay! Now this one, remember, there's two different Child's Plays. There's the remake, which is a remake, and then we're getting the TV series, which will star the original cast. Okay?
So, I just have to ask one question. This remake is the original creator involved in this
No,
remake? Okay, well
that's
then
the
I don't know
TV.
if that's gonna work.
That's the TV series. Everyone who was originally a part of the Chucky universe and the Chucky world and its creation will be the TV series. This is the movie reboot,
Okay.
which, so they dropped their first teaser poster, which is basically the Buddy doll, which is spelled Buddi. Um, it's like a Buddy doll in this dingy warehouse, and it just says from the producer of it, and it says Child's Play.
Hmm.
So this one is by MGM and Oron. So they produced the movie, and that the reboot is officially going to drop on June 21st, 2019, if we're all still alive by then. Um, which, funny enough, is the same release date as Toy Story 4. So Chucky
Oh,
versus,
whoa! I didn't know that. Wow.
so we're gonna look at Chucky versus Forky. Um, yeah. And there are other movies that are dropping as well, but it's really interesting that it's going to drop alongside Toy Story 4.
Oh,
Uh,
that is.
Woody and Chucky will start fighting it out. That would be nice. And Forky running around having panic attacks. Um, see, I prefer that more than what we're getting from Toy Story 4.
Yeah. Well, now that I know that that's coming out the same weekend, I already know a movie I will be watching that weekend. It will not be Toy Story 4.
But if you look at it, they're essentially the same movie, but they just kind of took different paths in life.
It's definitely going to be a different path.
They're toys. They're toys that come to life.
Yeah.
They're just
Except
the side of each other.
except for one of those toys is more violent than the other ones. So that's I can't wait to see that.
All Chucky needs is for someone to show him love. That's all. That's all he needs is a good hug. And Jennifer Tilly. Jennifer
Yes.
will save the day. And she's not in this one, by the way. She's in the TV series. But yeah, so that's coming out on, like I said, June 21st, 2019. If we're still alive, we'll see that. Um, so this should be very interesting. I don't know. I kind of still feel nothing for it. Um, I guess since the series is kind of like it started, what, in the mid 80s, I'm going to say that seeing a reboot would be interesting. My only issue is, remember that one time, nobody talks about it anymore because it was so horrific, when they rebooted Freddy Krueger
Yeah, I do remember that.
and they made it so depressing and they sucked all of the joy and the life out of it. So that is my fear. The thing with Chucky, just like Freddy, was that they had personality. Like they would crack jokes as they're killing you.
Yeah.
So I'm really terrified to see what is going to happen with this new version.
Well,
So
you said it's out in June, so I'm assuming that we'll get a trailer well before then to know
well,
whether or not this is going to be a good movie.
I would at least like one by January. That would just be nice.
Yeah, I think that's possible. I did hear a rumor today, even though this is unrelated, and I don't know if it's accurate. I did hear around the end of November we're going to get an Avengers trailer. But that is not confirmed. This is, like, as I said, this is a rumor because they're going based off of last year when they released that first trailer. It was around right after Thanksgiving.
Wait,
So
was that around the D23 and I threw a fit?
I think it was. Yes, I think
God,
it was.
yeah, D23 always gets everything first. And yeah, and then like the whole release the footage campaign and no one can get the trailer to leak, and that's because I realized later on, being involved with Disney, is that basically they will have guards standing next to each person in the audience with like these high powered type laser beams that's ready to like completely erase your phone and your existence, where you'll just disappear and no one will ever find you again. So that's why the footage has never really been leaked, and we kind of had to wait months even for the leaked footage of the trailer, and we finally saw Thanos throwing a moon.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was waiting to see that in the trailer, and then when I didn't see it until way, much later, I was like, okay, that's interesting because I thought they were
you
going to.
refused to watch it. I found it. You refused to watch it
Yeah,
because you wanted, like, no, I want to see it when it releases in 4K.
yeah,
And
yeah, we wanted to see the. Yeah, I know a couple of people that myself and a couple other people on the site. We wanted to wait for the real deal trailer.
yeah, I just like, I have no shame. I can't wait. Tomorrow's not promised. So I was like, I'm gonna watch it now. And I just like cried. It was really good. I was crying through the whole thing. And yeah, it was, again, don't do that. Piracy is bad. But it was beautiful. Don't pirate trailers because that hurts the bottom line and the dollar.
That's
And you're
correct.
taking jobs away from studios who want to release their own trailers independently. So yeah, um, good luck with that. So yeah, that basically is everything that's kind of happened this week. It was a very kind of eventful day for today with the trailers releasing and then Stanley. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, no doubt about it. Yeah, a lot of stuff happened. So
yes,
I definitely looking forward to seeing how these films turn out. I'm not gonna make a promise that I will see all of the movies that we discussed, but I'm definitely looking forward to learning more about some of these movies and seeing how they actually turn out.
you're seeing everything. You're seeing all of the movies. And also, really quickly, because it kind of just dropped, we're getting new Garfield movie. No, you
Oh
excited?
no, Garfield.
Garfield. I can't even remember the last time that we had a Garfield movie.
Yeah, that this we're getting this is a live action or animated movie.
No, this is a live action Garfield movie by the director of Chicken Little, Mark Dindell.
Ah, interesting.
I know that we had one previously. I honest to heavens cannot remember when was the last Garfield movie.
That was a while ago. I do remember that movie, and I don't really remember how I felt about the movie because it was so long that I've seen it. Um, but they in that information, it didn't reveal who is playing the John. Is it?
No, they just kind of found a director. I don't really think they have a script yet. They're putting it on to all together. Um, they don't even know who's playing the dog. Remember, there was a dog in it. I remember that much.
Yeah, I do remember the dog.
I do remember the dog, and then also remember we're getting this. I think I'm more excited for the Sonic movie than I am for Garfield.
Oh yeah, yeah. The Sonic movie is going to be interesting for sure.
Remember, that's going to be. I know Jim Carrey is playing the antagonist,
Robotnik.
Robotnik.
Ah,
That's like
interesting.
weird live action.
Oh
So
yeah, that's going to be interesting.
that should be very interesting indeed. And also remember, Sonic will be in Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh yeah, that's actually I did want to say very briefly. Yeah, well, I will definitely be checking out that movie in the future. I actually will be going to see Creed 2 next week as well, so I will have something to say about that.
I feel nothing for that movie just because it does not look original. It's like literally looks like the previous movie. It's like, and now the next generation. And it's like, what's the next movie going to be? The grandkids are going to start fighting each other?
Oh yeah, well, I agree that not really anything original about the concept. Um, I'm just curious to see, you know, I'm just curious to see how it all turns out to see if Apollo gets his ass whooped. So so that's what I want to see. Um, so that'll be interesting.
If, Imagine if Creed dies in this one. It's kind of like a payback for what previously happened.
Oh no, they can't do that. All the Michael B. Jordan fans will lose it if they kill this guy in the movie. So I we'll see.
And also, really quickly, rest in peace to Revere, which was the TV show from NBC
Oh yeah, yep.
that I interviewed for and then discovered the next week it was canceled. So thanks for that. That was fun looking
Yeah,
up. Yeah.
and
So
and and and, and we'll also give a shout out to Manifest, the next show that will get canceled in the not too distant future.
I think Manifest will be one of those shows that just keeps trolling people. Along with Charmed, it'll just never be canceled. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I watched the first episode. I'm like, you can't be serious with this. But they ordered all of it for the full season, the full 22 episodes. And I'm just confused right now.
The season is already ongoing now, right? For Charm, the
So
season.
you're gonna get the full 22 episodes.
Okay, so there's a chance that next year they can get canceled. So we'll see what happens in 2019.
I just
As you say, if we are still alive by this time next year.
oh my. It's canceled by technicality. No one's alive. But yeah, very odd. And also, quickly, thoughts and prayers and donate to the fires that's going on in California.
Oh yes, yeah.
It's affecting a lot of people, a lot of animals. People, I think 31 people have lost their lives already. Um, a lot of people in Hollywood were affected. I had an interview that I had to do that's like, nope, we can't do that. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I'm glad that you mentioned that because yeah, I do know a couple people that I mean, I did contact them. They're doing okay, but I can only imagine how devastating that it is to go through that. And then for people in other parts of California to also feel that as well, it's a little, yeah, that's a little surreal. So I wish anyone that is going through anything, regarding that, I wish them well. I hope that they are able to recover. They're someplace safe, and hopefully this issue does get resolved. Um, but yeah, that's a serious problem. So hopefully everybody is okay in California.
Yeah, very much so. So, any final thoughts? Any final shout outs?
Well, I just want to once again extend my condolences to Stan Lee and wish his family well throughout this entire process. It's going to be a very tough situation. Um, but he accomplished a lot of excellent things, so definitely have to be proud of what he has accomplished, and a lot of people's lives will forever be changed because of what he has done in the industry with the characters in general. So I just wish him well, his family well. Um, and I also want to give a shout out to everybody on the coalition, including yourself, Dana. As most people know, the website, we're now at the 10-year mark. So we're going to continue to do stuff on the co-op podcast. So I would encourage everybody to check out the podcast, because we are going to be having other people on the team on that show very soon. So but yeah, just want to thank everybody for their continued support of these shows. Definitely leave your feedback and let us know other things you want us to explore as far as the shows are concerned. But we appreciate the continued support, and that's all I had to say. Shout outs.
Yep, I repeat what you say. Shout outs to everyone and also everyone who's listening as well. So, thank you very much. And we'll speak again next time.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.